So European association shall give a one-voice approach from the industry side, but also from associations to support us, which means to guarantee patient access in all countries so it is not diminished by a geographical point if a patient has access or not.
So Tilray believes in the need for sustainable regulations and standards in Europe. We believe that there's a need for one voice of the industry, patient associations, and that's why we support the European Medicinal Cannabis Association as to become this voice.
I believe in a strong regulatory framework, and I think that is what Malta did in this regard to make sure that it attracts investment but also ensure high quality products for patients. But we can't have a situation where we have fragmented legislation amongst the EU member states. I believe that we need to arrive at a point where we have one strong regulatory framework within the EU. It will provide stability to investors, but most importantly for me, it will provide peace of mind to patients.
Cannabis is a mainstream medicine consumed by mainstream patients around the world. Trusted global brands, powered by multinational supply chains, will win by earning the confidence of governments, patients, the medical community, and consumers around the world.
Honestly, I believe the sector needs standardized regulations. So we for sure have benchmarks in the European market with progressive regulations, but there's still countries to catch up. And it's definitely something Tilray would support if we would get European standards which are comparable across the board and which at the very end provide access for patients to medication they need.
It is unacceptable that you have a patient who can access medical cannabis in one country but then has to travel in another country and they can't take with them medical cannabis or access medical cannabis. If we really have our patients' well-being at heart, we need to make sure that across the EU our patients can access medical cannabis.
Cannabis was forbidden for so many years, so that there was no opportunity of gaining experience with cannabis. There were no clinical trials possible based on the strict regulation of narcotics law. I think what we need now is monitoring the German situation. We realize how beneficial it is. And I think this is something which is very convincing for other regulators, for other countries to look at it and also to adopt the German model to avoid that patients are going to black markets or to sources where they cannot have access, because we are talking about a very fragile patient situation. They are sometimes terminally ill and have already several chemotherapies behind them. So I think it is very important to have a standard situation here.